Somebody spins, that's Martin Cross. Off into the gravel trap goes Martin Cross. A cross error, possibly that. Ian Flux leads, Jerry Marshall and Mark Hales. That's the top three. Bit of a gap opening up between them and John Kent fourth, and that's Martin Short trying to dive through on the inside of Colin Blower. Short racing a Tuscan for the first time. He's had only a day's testing. He's going very well indeed, up from the Rover Turbo Championship. Peter Wheeler with the HAP8 engine car there. Looking back, you can see Martin Stewart right up behind him. The 450 horsepower Tuscans rumble their way down to Copse Corner with Ian Flux leading and Jerry Marshall there in the TVR Centre entry, trying to keep Mark Hales at bay. Flash of flame on overrun. Mark Hales there closing up for Jerry Marshall. He's looking for a way through. He's on the inside line. And Mark Hales there moving through up into second place. Now he's ahead of Marshall. What can he do to try and close the gap between himself and this man Ian Flux? Flux in the central TVR team's car, out of Beckett's. Hales there with a wider line than Jerry Marshall, still second. John Kent is the man fourth, and Short, Harvey and Blower battle over fifth, sixth and seventh. Peter Wheeler has behind him a good battle. Nick Cresswell there going around the outside of Martin Stewart. The former modified saloon car champion Nick Cresswell really going very well here. Jerry Marshall on the inside, but John Kent there trying to take third place away from him on the outside line. It's not going to work, surely, and it doesn't. The Norweb car, though, looking for a way through on the inside. Squeal of tyres. Mark Newman has lost it. Mark Newman spins off at Stowe. The circuit getting very wet and slippery. Mark Hales goes off there. Sideways, on the grass, on the tarmac. Drops it down a gear, recovers the rev, sets off. Hales then running out of road on a circuit that is getting wetter and wetter and more slippery. Jerry Marshall losing another place. That was Chris Marris going through on the inside, and Marshall's car, I'm sure, has got a problem. It's dropped so far back down the field. Now, look at this tremendous battle going on. Mark Hales heading this four-car queue with Kent, Short and Harvey right up behind him. John Kent on the outside, Mark Hales on the inside, Harvey going through ahead of Short. Now, can he find a way past John Kent as well? He's going to the inside. You can see how wet the circuit has become. Hales has got it sideways, and again he's off. For the second time, Mark Hales goes off onto the grass. 3 places lost. He gets back in behind Kent, Harvey and Short. Now, John Kent getting a bit sideways. He's got the ex-British Touring Car champion, Tim Harvey, behind him, and there is Martin Short, up from the Rover Turbo Series. In comes the power, the back trying to break away, and Mark Hales with a much more sideways Tuscan there behind them. As long as Hales can stay roughly in the top 7 and ahead of Colin Blower, he should be able to take the championship today, still with 2 races to go. Ian Flux splashing his way through in the lead. Here is Mark Hales, braking hard, he's turning into Copse, and ahead there, the black car of Tim Harvey goes through on the inside of John Kent. Also moving through, Martin Short ahead of the Preston driver Kent now. So Mark Hales can see this battle going on ahead of him. He doesn't want to press too hard in case he goes off. Roger Connell there turning through, whoops. Brakes on fire, you can see the flames there. We've got a spinner for Mick Schofield. Mick Schofield is the spinner and he's facing the wrong way. Now he gets it going in roughly the right direction. And in replay we can see Mark Hales running out of road there. He goes off onto the grass, coming through the left-hander of Priory. If you're wrong there, you're wrong all the way through Brooklands, and Mark Hales gets it back on the circuit. Tim Harvey then now rocketing on. He's in a good second place. Martin Short is third, fourth is Kent, and fifth is Hales. That's enough to give him the crown. The red Pro-Tape Tuscan looking for a way through on the inside. The rain has stopped for now, but the circuit is very damp. This time Hales gets Priory right. He's up a place. Being careful in these greasy conditions. Apply the power too early, too quickly, and you're going to find yourself spinning round and out of the race. Hales then ahead of John Kent, new of course for 94, the aerodynamic aids, rear wing and front splitter to try and increase a bit of downforce. They're still, though, very entertaining to watch, these cars. Bags of horsepower, 450 horsepower for the Tuscans. Mark Hales there, you can see the red car, and whoops, there's contact as Bob Sands gets involved with Mark Hughes, and another spinner in sympathy. That was Gavin Cooper. Bob Sands now spins it round altogether. 3 into 1 doesn't go. Bob Sands tries to rejoin. Now that shows you how wet and slippery the grass is, because Bob Sands having another half spin there while trying to rejoin. Peter Wheeler and Rod Gretton come up right behind him there. Peter Wheeler, the TVR chairman, running in new livery this weekend, and Rod Gretton right up behind the chairman Peter Wheeler. Sands then fishtailing as he comes out through Woodcote Corner now. Look how hard he has to work behind the wheel there, trying to keep the car in a straight line. Mark Newman, number 4, coming towards us. Spinner in the background is Nigel Tuscan. Another man with experience of racing classic sports car TVRs all over the curbs. He's able to rejoin though. Here's the leader, Ian Flux. He's going to win here at Silverstone. He dives under the bridge and through the right-hander of Bridge Bend. A very fast corner. Reduced speed in these slippery conditions. And Ian Flux now with no pressure behind him, able to pick his lines and drive well. The mirror drops off on the warming up lap. He's been able to stick it back on and hope for the best. And Hales out of contention here means that Ian Flux has a far easier task of it than in previous rounds of the championship. The nose drops there as he brakes for Luffield too. Power back on, accelerating carefully through Woodcote Corner. The checkered flag at the ready, and Ian Flux is going to win by over 8 seconds. The flag goes out, and Ian Flux the winner at Silverstone, with Tim Harvey in second place and Martin Short third. John Kent, Mark Hales and Colin Blower complete the top 6, and that's enough to crown Mark Hales as the champion of 1994, still with 2 races to go. Ian Flux in the yellow overalls, a delighted winner here at Silverstone. Brands Hatch plays host to the penultimate round of this year's TVR Tuscan Challenge. Mark Hales has already won the championship. He lines up on the inside of the second row of the grid, with Mark Newman here lining up on pole position for the first time. He's in his first year of Tuscan racing. He's been improving race by race, but alongside him on the front row, Ian Flux, a man never to be underestimated. Ian Flux looking for victory then here at Brands on the Indy circuit. Mark Hales there lining up on the inside of the second row of the grid, already the champion. Alongside him is Chris Maris, and there Peter Wheeler, the TVR chairman, with the AJP8 powered Tuscan. 2 enormous air intakes on the bonnet of that car, and Peter Wheeler looking for a good result here at Brands. Looking back from Mark Newman's car. Ready for the red lights to flash the green, they do so. Newman caught out there by the sloping start from pole position at Brands Hatch, but look at Mark Hales go! From third to first, a tremendous start by the journalist Mark Hales, still looking back from Newman's car. The field all battling away behind him. Jerry Marshall there, number 69, up behind him. The cars dropped down the hill for the first time, but Mark Hales, after a super getaway, is in the lead. Ian Flux is second, John Kent is third, and the cars make their way now through the tight right-hander of Druids. On board with Colin Blower, Martin Stewart just ahead. Almost clashing there with Bob Sands. Past them both goes Mark Hughes. The cars accelerating their way now along bottom straight. Steve Cole, number 3, the man who should have started on pole at Silverstone but failed to make the start of the race at all, is there right up behind Mark Newman. Behind him is Jerry Marshall, and here Mark Hales is in the lead. Only just though, Ian Flux is right with him. Mark Newman runs wide, Steve Cole looks for a way past him. Bob Sands run wide as well there as they all file through clearways. Peter Wheeler, number 8, accelerates his way up towards the line. Hales and Flux, the 2 masters of the Tuscans this year, first and second. John Kent is third there. Steve Cole in fourth place, only just fending off Mark Newman, who in turn is under a great deal of pressure there from Simon Wayne. Hales then makes his way up towards Druids. Flux and Kent not that far behind him. Andy Wallace in number 6, the black HRO in car going through, and Colin Blower a little bit further down the field than you normally expect to see him, up behind Martin Stewart there. Don't forget, Blower won earlier in the season at Mallory and at Snetterton. He's looking for a way past the Moose as they come down through Graham Hill Bend, right up alongside Martin Stewart, and through he goes. Flash of flame from Hales' car, Ian Flux right up behind him now. John Kent there as well. The top 3 nose to tail as they make their way out of Clark Curve, up towards the line. Steve Cole still in fourth place. No, he's not. He's being caught. He's being passed as they come up towards the line. Steve Cole on the outside. Simon Wayne, Snetterton winner, on the inside line, going through into fourth place and also closing up to John Kent in so doing. Another super race from the TVR Tuscans. Simon Wayne up into fourth, trying now to keep Steve Cole at bay in fifth. They make their way to Druids. Cole number 3, Wayne number 26. Out of Druids. They drop down the hill. Number 3, Steve Cole, the Liverpudlian, looking for a way past Simon Wayne there as they head through Graham Hill Bend. Mark Newman behind. On board now with Colin Blower. Mark Hughes just up ahead, and Blower looking for a way past. The door closed though. The 4.5 litre V8 Tuscans rumbling their way round Brands Hatch with Mark Hales and Ian Flux first and second, and Simon Wayne having a real charge there in third place. John Kent still fourth. The cars now accelerate their way up over the line, and look at Wayne. He's closing all the time on Ian Flux. He's alongside as they head to paddock. Can he go round on the outside? No, he can't, surely. Ian Flux just able to keep that second place. Simon Wayne this time has to try the long way round as they come up the hill towards Druids. John Kent is closing as well, but Ian Flux, a very experienced driver, is able to keep his Tuscan in second place. What it means though is that Mark Hales has pulled away up front a little bit. Simon Wayne, the ex-Formula Ford racer, in third, and the vastly experienced TVR pilot John Kent in fourth. As up into second place goes Simon Wayne, despite Ian Flux's best efforts there to keep the inside line. Wayne goes past him, Wayne goes second. Hales, Wayne, Flux and Kent, that's the top 4. Well, can Simon Wayne now do anything about Mark Hales? From 8th on the grid, he's second. All over the grass and a spin there. Number 35, Graham Nash. Can they all avoid him in all of that smoke? Well, so far they have managed so to do. Accelerating back into the race there is Graham Nash. Cars off there. Peter Wheeler's car looks to be one of them, the very badly damaged rear of Peter Wheeler's machine. Marshall's taking avoidance as the cars of Chris Maris and Andy Wallace go all over the grass. We're on board with Blower. Mark Hughes' red car off on the left-hand side of the road there. Well, Blower successfully gets past, but the race is being stopped. Cars littering the circuit. The red flag's brought out to stop the race early. It means that Mark Hales wins. Simon Wayne taking second place. As we look at Peter Wheeler spinning, Mark Hughes very nearly avoided him, but he couldn't quite do so. A big impact that takes two cars out of the race. Rips the rear bodywork off Wheeler's car. Rod Gretton spins in avoidance, and Peter Wheeler thankfully okay, as too Mark Hughes after a very big impact. There's the top six. Ian Flux finishing in 6th position, and in the championship with one more race to go. Mark Hales has already clinched it. Blower and Kent still squabbling for second. The final round of the 1994 TVR Tuscan Challenge, one of the most eagerly awaited races of the year. It's a support race to the Touring Car World Cup. It's here at Donington in front of over 20,000 spectators, and it's John Kent on pole position. That's the view from Hodgetts' car. Red lights on, green lights on, it's go! Wonderful noise from the TVR's 4.5 litre engines, and it's Mark Hales there nosing into the lead in the red Tuscan. Contact behind Martin Stewart, hits Simon Wayne. Wayne goes off, thwack into the barrier. A lot of damage. Martin Stewart spins as well. Spin, 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 spin. He's still spinning. He's facing the wrong way as we're on board now with Martin Short. Right up behind Colin Blower. More dramas. Mick Schofield goes off the circuit, and Fabrizio Brogi there, the Italian ex-motorcycle racer, off in avoidance. Short diving down towards the old hairpin. It's Hales, Kent, Hodgetts and Flux, the top four. Colin Blower is 5th, Martin Short 6th. Then it's Andy Wallace and Chris Maris, who had a lousy practice session when Mark Newman drove right into him at the Melbourne hairpin, and Chris Maris started way back, 24th on the grid. Hodgetts there, diving up on the inside of John Kent. The door closed though. Stay behind, says John Kent to Chris Hodgetts, and he does so. Hodgetts runs wide onto the curb, off the curb, up towards the right-hander of Coppice they come for the first time. Mark Hales, the champion, is in the lead. Andy Wallace there, the former Le Mans winner, going through ahead of Chris Maris, and we're on board with Martin Short. He's tucked up behind Colin Blower, the fastest part of Donington, under the Dunlop Bridge, down towards the chicane. Short diving through on the inside, there's not much room, but he's going through. Martin Short dives through, and also going past Colin Blower goes Andy Wallace, but Blower has the inside line. There he goes back at us. Colin Blower on the outside, he's on the grass. Past him goes Wallace, past him goes Maris. On board with Hodgetts now, he's 3rd, Kent is 2nd, and Hales is in the lead. Mark Hales then making his way up to Goddard's to complete the first lap. It's a 10-lapper, and it's John Kent in 2nd place, thinking about having a go on the inside. Thinks better of it though. Hales, the wily journalist, keeps him at bay. Hodgetts here in 3rd place, former champion himself. Red light comes on, that means change gear. He does so, and he's got Ian Flux right up behind him. The top two breaking away then as they come down to Redgate. Hales versus Kent, and there on the inside, Chris Hodgetts being able to fend off Ian Flux, but he runs wide over the curbs there. Hodgetts clips the curbs on the inside, runs wide. The door is left open for Ian Flux to challenge, but the door closed just in the nick of time. Looking back from John Kent's car as he drops down the dauntingly fast Craner curves. Kent in 2nd place. In 3rd is Hodgetts, and 4th is Flux. Making their way under Starkey's Bridge. On board now with Martin Short. He runs wide on the curb on the grass. Keeps it all under control, but he loses a place. Through goes Chris Maris. Chris Maris, having started so far back, 24th on the grid, is driving brilliantly, and in replay you can see Martin Stewart sliding across the front of Simon Wayne's car at the start. Wayne launched into the concrete wall. That's a big impact, and look at Martin Stewart's car. It's still spinning. The rest of the field avoid him, and Martin Stewart faces the wrong way and tries to sort himself out. Looking back from John Kent's car, Ian Flux there on the outside of Chris Hodgetts, and we're in the lead. Mark Hales drops back into 2nd place. John Kent leads. The Preston Rest Home owner is ahead, or is he? Because Mark Hales is fighting back. Hales on the outside as they approach Goddard's, goes through into the lead, but Kent's got the inside line through. He goes back ahead. John Kent scrabbling for grip on the inside line is ahead. He's in the lead once more, and Mark Hales drops down to 2nd place. Hodgetts is still 3rd, and Flux is 4th. This is brilliant stuff. Across the line, Mark Hales now lines himself up for an attack on the inside as they go to Redgate. He tries to rate that a little bit later. He does, but John Kent closes the door in the nick of time. John Kent is not going to be denied a win here at Donington, or so it would appear. He leads as they come onto the top of the Craner curves. Hales is in 2nd place, and this now the scrap to watch for 3rd. Chris Hodgetts having to make his car oh so wide to keep Ian Flux at bay. Ian Flux, who still wants to be in touring cars for 1995, has done very well indeed this year in TVR Tuscan racing. And Chris Hodgetts now trying to speed up and pull away from Flux. He's succeeding in doing so and latching onto the tail of Mark Hales now. Hales in second place, John Kent in the lead. They swing their way out of the right-hander of McLean, out towards Coppice. Hodgetts dives for the middle of the road, preventing Fluxy from finding a way past him. Out of Coppice, in comes the power. They accelerate off now, down under the bridge towards the S's. Now, who's going with a brave late breaker here? Mark Hales has a look on the outside line. John Kent hugs the inside line and maintains that lead. Hales, though, diving up on the outside. They swing through the left and right-handed elements of the S's. Third and fourth go through. Still with Chris Hodgetts there just ahead of Ian Flux. Now they come down to the hairpin. That's Mark Hales up alongside. Hales trying to go the long way around, but it's not going to work as Flux does the same to Hodgetts. Mark Hales couldn't get much closer to the rear of John Kent's car without touching him. A tremendous battle this, and it's all good, clean fun. Hodgetts and Flux still third and fourth. Flux oh so frustrated in his efforts. He tries the outside line again. That isn't going to work, and it doesn't. In comes the power. The Tuscans accelerate out of Goddard's. Kent, Hales, Hodgetts and Flux, the top four. Now Ian Flux there in the green and yellow car trying to pick his line as they come down towards Redgate. He tries a wide approach. Wide in means tight out. Can he find a way through on the inside of Chris Hodgetts as they now head to the top of the Craner curves? He's not really being given a chance as we go on board with Martin Short diving up on the inside of Rodgers, and he's lost it. Off goes Martin Short. He's been slipping back down the field, and that is going to slip him even further back down the order. Short in trouble then. Chris Hodgetts, a former Tuscan champion, going through in third place. Their fourth is Ian Flux. John Kent in the lead, it seems, however, is now pulling away from Mark Hales. Maybe Hales is taking a little breather, giving his tyres and brakes some respite from all the action. Out now they come from McLean's look back. You can see still third and fourth are tied together. Chris Hodgetts only just ahead of Ian Flux. This is Coppice, right-hander. Under braking, Mark Hales closes the gap between himself and the race leader, John Kent. Martin Short's got off again. Look, he's locked up. It's lost it. He's facing the wrong way. Just about gets it back, facing in the right direction. Two more places lost. It's all gone horribly quiet for Martin Short. Fires it all up again. Another place lost. Martin Short sets off. He was so impressive at Silverstone. He's having a bad day here. Waves to the crowd to say, well, I gave you some entertainment and I'm still going. Hales diving through on the inside there to try and get the lead. He's on the inside of Kent. He hits the curve. He runs wide. Hodgetts comes up as well. Hodgetts going for second. He's through. Can he get the lead? No, he can't. And John Kent there fighting back. Hodgetts right up alongside John Kent as they now make their way towards Goddard's, but Mark Hales is through again, and Flux there on the outside of Chris Hodgetts is going for third. Hodgetts is not going to be denied third place though as they swing left through Goddard's. Back on the power. Tyre smoke from John Kent's car as he slides his way up now, up across the line. Hales, Kent, Hodgetts and Flux, the top four, continuing this tremendous battle, and Hodgetts now looking for a way through to second place. He has a go. The door closed. Out of Redgate, heading now towards the top of the Craner curves. They drop downhill, the dauntingly fast Craner curves, and then the old hairpin at the bottom. Mark Hales then looks as though he's timed this to perfection. He's in the lead. He's been able to break away by a length or two from in second place John Kent. Third and fourth going through, Hodgetts and then Flux. Hales accelerates up. Look, flames! Hales has caught fast. Southing has got it a very large way indeed. Mark Hales goes off. Flux spins on his oil. Kent slows. Hodgetts goes through into the lead. Mark Hales goes off. He smacks his way into the tyres. Ian Flux spins on his oil. Chris Hodgetts leads. John Kent goes down into second place, and Mark Hales there, having had a crankshaft blow, puts oil down. He spins on his own oil. He goes off, smashes his way into the tyres. He's out of the race, and now you can see it in replay from Chris Hodgetts' car. Hales changes up. The engine lunches itself. You can see all the oil and the flames coming out of the bottom of it. John Kent slows to avoid. Hodgetts dives through into the lead, and Mark Hales cannons off into the barriers. All that drama now means that this man, Colin Blower, the Hinckley Garage owner, double winner this year, is third. He's a very distant third, it must be said. John Kent here goes on the inside of Chris Hodgetts. They make contact. Kent gets half sideways, has to try and sort himself out again. So Chris Hodgetts is going to win. He's on the last lap. He's on his way now up towards Goddard's. A welcome return to the TVR Tuscan Challenge for Chris Hodgetts. The former double British touring car champion is going to win. He will win from John Kent in second place. The flag is out, and Chris Hodgetts wins here at Donington. John Kent comes home just under a second and a half behind, with Colin Blower taking third, Andy Wallace fourth, Nick Cresswell and Ian Flux, who took fastest lap, completing the top six. What a tremendous race from the Tuscans. Mark Hales, despite the inferno, is crowned as champion with Colin Blower second, John Kent third ahead of Flux, Wayne and Chris Maris.